Aging isn't about slowing down, it's about stepping into your power. Welcome to Don't Let the Old Lady In, the podcast where we challenge outdated beliefs about getting older and embrace wellness, self-love, and confidence. Your host is Lori Gardner, a registered nurse and nationally board-certified health and wellness coach, and she is your guide on this journey to vibrant, mindful living. Each episode will explore topics that nourish your mind, body, and spirit and how to navigate health issues in the healthcare system as you age so you can live with energy, purpose, and joy. Let's get started. Here's your host, Lori Gardner. Welcome back, beautiful ladies. So aging well isn't just about green smoothies and gym memberships. It's about how deeply you love and care for yourself. In this inspiring episode, I share why self-love and self-responsibility are the root of all true health and well-being, especially in midlife and beyond. You'll discover how chronic self-neglect can silently erode your body, your peace, and your potential, and how reclaiming your power doesn't have to be overwhelming. From the subtle ways we give ourselves away to the mindset shifts that lead to healing and vitality, this conversation is your reminder that you are worth showing up for, mind, body, and soul. So this is Mirror, Mirror. The episode title is Mirror, Mirror on the Wall, How Much Do You Love Thee? It's all about celebrating aging and you with lots of self-love and self-responsibility. In this episode, we'll talk about the connection between self-worth and physical wellness. We'll talk about signs you're stuck in self-neglect and how to shift out of it. Simple but powerful ways to start honoring your inner wisdom and why your relationship with yourself is key to aging with grace and joy. Whether you're facing a health challenge, feeling stuck, or just tired of living on autopilot, this is your invitation to slow down, tune in, and love yourself forward. Let this be the day you choose you. So, what if the missing piece in your wellness journey isn't another supplement, diet, or exercise routine, but radical self-love and full responsibility for your life? We can discover that neglecting your own needs impacts physical and mental well-being. And once you reclaim your power to care for yourself, that is the most healing act of all. This might just be your wake-up call and your invitation to start living like you're worth it, because you are. So self-responsibility, what does that really mean? So let's be clear. Self-responsibility doesn't mean blame. It means ownership. It's the moment you say, I may not control everything, but I am responsible for how I respond, how I care for myself, and how I show up for this one wild and precious life. When we take ownership, we will wait for a doctor. When we don't take ownership for ourselves, we wait for a doctor, partner, or expert to fix us. When we don't take ownership, we stay stuck in cycles of inaction. We ignore red flags from our body and intuition. But when we own our health, we listen deeply to our body's wisdom. We set better boundaries. We show up for ourselves with consistency. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present and powerful. I'll have to share a little story because somebody asked me in one of the last podcasts, how do I keep my habit of getting to that gym Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for 2 hours, strength training, you name it. And I said, well, it's interesting. It started with, believe it or not, it started with a little fear. I had some health issues over the last several years, and one just popped up after everything else kind of settled down a little bit. One popped up. It's called osteoporosis. And I said, enough. I don't want that one. I don't want to add it to my list. And with that, I discussed with my endocrinologist, who was all for giving me the medication, and I'm for the medication, but I said, just give me a year. And they said, what are you going to do? I'm going to go strength train. I'm becoming a gym rat. She goes, you're not going to get that bone back. And I said, how do you know? Because I had enough intuition and self-love to say, I'm going to bang this out. So somebody said, how did you keep it up? I said, well, because I had a mission. Sometimes it just takes a different anchor, a different kind of event in somebody's life to get them going. And then I made sure, knowing what I know about creating habits, that, this isn't a cheap gym. I am responsible for the money I'm spending. I made sure I got a trainer so I didn't have gym intimidation and not know what to do and then just scurry out. And I didn't want to get hurt. And then I had my clothes the night before. Everything was planned. And I had a puppy during all this, and I had to plan everything. But because I made that commitment to myself, I kept it. And I still keep it. So this is all not about being perfect. It's about being present and powerful for what you need to move your needle forward, whether it's good health, better relationship, you name it. So I always like to start with a little inspiration. So, the secret to feeling confident in your skin. I loved this quote, and I'm sorry I don't have the author. Every line and wrinkle tells a beautiful story. Join the revolution of self-love and responsibility because aging with grace is the ultimate act of empowerment. Amen to that. And then here's a quote from one of my favorite books by Jaya John, Jaiya, John. If you want to just pour self-love all over you, read this book called Daughter, Drink This Water. And this is a quote from him. Daughter, I am going to tell you a secret. You are the best thing that ever happened to you. When you feel this and know this, you will be free. Think about that. Daughter, I am going to tell you a secret. You are the best thing that ever happened to you. When you feel this, you know this, you will be free. And then one of my all-time favorites, Helen Mirren, said something even just as wonderful. She said, one of the greatest gifts of growing older is to discover the exquisite art of being alone. What used to be an uncomfortable silence is now a luxury. The house is peaceful, and I can dance in the kitchen without being judged or just do nothing. My best company is myself, with a coffee, a good movie, and the freedom to be, because solitude is not absence. It is fullness and peace of mind. That's also really powerful. So take a little breath, ladies, and I just want to read off a couple of statements. I want to see if any of these sound familiar to you. If they do, let me know down below. Drop a comment. You've lost touch with who you were and often feel disconnected from who you were meant to be. You question long-held beliefs, roles, work, and relationships. You are grieving those you have lost along the way. You fear what lies ahead. You feel a deep, unshakable desire for freedom, authenticity, and joy. You feel more and more out of control of your mind and body as you age. These have a lot to tell you, ladies, so think about them. Just ponder them. I often say that the answers are in the questions. I'm here as a coach, but as a coach, I know who's the expert in your life. It's you. I'm here to help you pull out your magnificence, right? So, are you tired of society telling you that aging means losing your value? Let's talk about the real deal about self-love and responsibility for aging women. It's time to embrace the journey, to celebrate the wisdom and experience that come with age. Let's take control of the narrative, define your own beauty standards, and show the world that true confidence has no expiration date. Love yourself fiercely, take responsibility for your own happiness, and watch as you radiate from the inside out. Age is just a number, but self-love is timeless. To make the changes needed in age with grace and good health takes a deeper look. Internal work that takes time, support, and knowledge. I have seen the difference when ladies do this work and when they don't. And somebody asked me recently how my skincare, my health, I looked radiant. They said that. And I was with somebody else who's done a lot of work too. And we both said at the same time, we've done the work. It's not that we don't have wrinkles, but we did the deep work. And I'll do it the rest of my life. But it's the deep work that really is what's the most important. So why, ladies, is self-love non-negotiable? I believe it is non-negotiable. Here we go. You cannot heal a body you hate. You cannot maintain habits from a place of shame. You cannot bloom in a soil of self-criticism. Self-love isn't fluff. It's the foundation of wellness. Without it, we fall into emotional eating or self-sabotage. Anybody else out there do emotional eating? Mm-hmm. We fall into overgiving and burning out. We fall into people-pleasing while neglecting our own health. This is why self-love is so important. But with self-love, we trust our choices. We speak kindly to ourselves. We advocate for our care. We move our bodies because we want to, not because we hate how we look. Self-love is the energy that fuels sustainable health habits. It is essential. So because I'm a health and wellness coach and mind, body, spirit, let's talk about the health consequences of not loving yourself. Sometimes people don't make that connection. So let's talk straight. A lack of self-love and responsibility has real physical consequences. It shows up as chronic stress and high cortisol levels. This might be precluding or preventing you from losing weight. Gut issues, fatigue, and inflammation. It can show up as sleep disorders and anxiety, and we all have heard how important sleep is for our health lately, correct? It shows up as suppressed immune function. It shows up as silent resentment, which eats away at peace and energy. Okay, so when you consistently put yourself first, your body eventually says, I'm sorry. When you consistently put yourself last, I want to put us all first. That's why I jumped to that. But let's just go deep into this because it's really important to get awareness of where you're at now. Once you find out the awareness, and let's be clear, this isn't about being perfect. This is just about being honest and open. So just bring it out for yourself, because once we bring it out, we can purge it. When you consistently put yourself last, your body eventually says enough. And often it speaks through disease, burnout, emotional numbness, or a crisis that finally wakes us up. Lacking self-love erodes your peace, really, which is everything. Peace is allowance of self, accepting who you are and being peaceful with that. Most aren't in this peace, as they are struggling to be an ideal of what society says they must look like. Loving who you are is being peaceful. If you compare yourself to others or have disliked your body or the beauty you are, you've erupted your peace and let the old lady in. The foundation of keeping the old lady out is to love thyself and connect to your inner divine self who is unique, special, and calm. I'm going to call all of you out there goddesses, because in one of the mentoring groups I'm in, this gentleman, it's Mind, Body, Spirit's all this, but calls us all goddesses. And aren't we goddesses? Be pleased with everything about yourself and release thoughts of dissatisfaction and judgment and simply remain in a state of appreciation and joy. Focus on fulfilling yourself. To know thyself is to accept the flow of change within yourself. We are always evolving and we are never done. So don't deny your true self in order to be accepted by others and the world. Accept your emotions and feelings as they are. They are your indicators of awareness and growth. There are no wrong feelings, and our negative emotional states can be our greatest teachers that we rise up from. So let's go, reclaiming our power one small step at a time. Here's your invitation. Take one radical act of self-responsibility. Drink water. Call your doctor. Set up that screening test that you've been hesitant to do. Set a boundary. Say yes to rest. Say no to what doesn't serve you right now. Practice a simple act of self-love daily. Look in the mirror maybe, if this resonates for you. If not, something else is fine. But look in the mirror in the morning and just say, I love you. I'm here for you. You matter. Start asking, what would someone who truly loves herself do today? Let that guide your decisions, one choice at a time. And lastly, review your unique gifts and strengths and meditate on one of those this week and honor yourself for it. Sometimes it's helpful to write up what I call a manifesto. Just write up all of your wonderful qualities. If you want to start and really get rid of that inner critic and purge that, just write out everything you have been talking about yourself. Inner critic, too fat, too this, too that. Write it out, purge it, rip it up, burn it, whatever, get rid of it. And then write up your manifesto that emphasize all your gifts and your strengths, and just meditate on one of those that week just to let it sink in. Really, really important. So, in wrapping up here, tell me, Drop it in the comments. What do you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? This comes from a quote from Mary Oliver. It's fantastic. It's important. Take a look at that for yourself. And very interestingly, there's a book out there. I'm just going to follow up with this one quote about love yourself like your life depends on it, because it does. There's a book by the same name out there. Very interesting. Ladies, your health, your happiness, and your whole future start with how you treat yourself now. I'm happy to provide you with a complimentary gift. If you look in the show notes, it's called Self-Love Guide. It's a journey. It's very short, but it's a good tool to start with. A journey to rediscovering your inner power in midlife and beyond. It's packed with wonderful exercises and inspirations and how to embrace your imperfect self, quiet that inner critic, and nurture your mind, body, and spirit. So I hope this was helpful for you, ladies. And as always, contact me if you have any questions, drop some comments. If this resonated with you, please share with friends. And thank you so much for being here. And if this episode spoke to you, share it. And don't forget, you're not too old and it's not too late. Until next time, don't let the old lady in. And that's a wrap on today's episode of Don't Let the Old Lady In. Remember, age is just a number. Your mindset, energy, and passion are what truly define you. If this episode spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend. Subscribe and leave a review so we can continue this journey together. You are strong, vibrant, and unstoppable. Until next time, keep living boldly, loving yourself fully, and most importantly, don't let the old lady in.